So this is my 2020 to 21 predictions, including playoffs and standings. Right now, my first prediction will be this season will be one of the more crazier seasons and one of the best seasons ever because there's a ton of contending teams. A few from each conference can make it to the final. There could be a surprise like a Heat from last year, like maybe like the Rockets can make it to the playoffs, or like even the Sixers if they do some good things. But we will probably get started. So here are the Western Conference teams standings. The Kings last place. They don't really have anyone. They were good 2 years ago, but couldn't make the playoffs. But they will be good. They will not be good, I mean, this year because they are rebuilding. De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield might be traded. Marvin Bagley is decent. Bogdanovich might leave. Spurs 14th. DeMar DeRozan cannot lead the team. LaMarcus Aldridge is 35 years old now. Pretty old. And then DeMar DeRozan, I mean, they have decent young players, but right now, I don't think they can make the playoffs. So, these are our teams, but Thunder, if they trade Chris Paul, they will be at the 13th spot. They would most likely trade Chris Paul to Neil Gallinari and Dennis Schroeder. They want to rebuild. Their GM wants to rebuild because, I mean, this year didn't work out, but they were a very good and underrated team this year. Then we have the Memphis Grizzlies with Brandon Clark and John Morant and some other good players. But they will be 12th because they still don't have that much experience yet, but in the future they will become very good. Next we have the Phoenix Suns. They're very good in the bubble. One of the best teams in the bubble. But they will still be good, but like not too good. Plus people are like rested and doing well now. So Devin Booker, I don't think they can make the playoffs this year though because I just don't think they can make the playoffs yet. They need a second star. Next we have Minnesota Timberwolves, Cat and D'Lo. They're a very good team, but Cat has never led his team without another player that is better than him, kind of like Jimmy Butler was better than him, to a championship. I mean not championship, playoffs. So I don't think they'll make the playoffs this year. 9th is the Pelicans. I think they will be very good because last year, I mean Zion is gonna grow even more like a Luka this year, and then also Brandon Ingram will improve even more. They might get rid of Drew Holiday, but Jackson Hayes and like Lonzo, yeah, they're a very exciting team to watch. JJ Redick still. Portland Trailblazers will be the 8th seed. I believe they will win the play-in tournament versus the Pelicans or another team because those teams are very hard to rank from like the Western Conference is very hard to rank below because a ton of like all of the teams aren't bad, but like they're just not good. But this is a good team, Trailblazers with Dame and CJ. I think they could be the 7th seed, but because Nurkic and them, because 2 years ago they were 4th seed and beat the Thunders. I think they're 6th or 5th or 4th, I don't remember. And they might sign a player because Hassan Whiteside might leave. Then we have the Jazz, surprisingly, at the 7th seed. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert choked last year. They would try to make other trades. Bogdanovich will be back. Mike Conley is still here, but I don't think they can be. I mean, they can still be like good in the playoffs, but I don't think they'll be high in the rankings like last year. Mavericks 6th seed. They are going to try to get a 3rd star, and if they get a 3rd star, they will even go up. But you saw this year in the playoffs, they almost beat the Clippers, and yeah, I think they'll be better than the Jazz. Luka will improve even more, the 3rd-year jump, and then Porzingis will also be very good, and then they will get a 3rd star maybe. Houston Rockets will be the 5th seed because Harden and Russell Westbrook, if they don't get traded, are still very good. And then they will also have new change in culture as no more small ball, most likely. They will get a center. as they have new general manager and they are going to get a new head coach. Rock Nuggets, 4th seed. You saw Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic crazy as they won 2 3-1 series to come back, and that's very good. So I believe they're always a good regular season team. Also, they might lose Jeremy Grant, but they can still trade people. They're on a trading block. Some players, not really though. Next, 3rd seed, I will Golden State Warriors. They will get some good players, but Stephen Clay and Draymond are decent. I mean, not decent. They're very good, but they don't have the depth to get to like a 1st or 2nd seed. Like, they have a lot of young players at the depth. They don't really have any veterans. Clippers, we have the 2nd seed, so Kawhi, PG will come back, and they will get another good playmaker. They will be more chemistry together, so I think they will be the 2nd seed. But the 1st seed is the defending championship Los Angeles Lakers. They're very good in the playoffs, but the only thing that's bad is that LeBron, if this starts on December 22nd, the schedule, LeBron might not play for a month because he wants to rest. But I still think they will be a top seed even without LeBron, but they will only be 1st seed if LeBron plays. East, New York Knicks 15 seed, they're trash, but they might get Russell Westbrook, Al Horford like a horrible contract because they want to still win. They're New York. Charlotte Hornets 14th, they don't really have anyone good. They might get James Wiseman though in the draft. Devontae Graham very good actually. Terry Rozier also very good. They have a lot of young players. Cleveland Cavaliers as 13th. Kevin Love might be traded. Drummond most likely will stay with Cleveland though. But I don't think Drummond can lead their team to the playoffs like with their team they have right now. They have Tristan Thompson, some good young players like Darius Garland, Collin Sexton. But Drummond has led some bad teams to the playoffs before. Detroit will be 12th unless they trade Derrick Rose and Blake Griffin. They will be like 14th, and the Cavs will be like 12th because Pistons do have some young players like Kennard and Christian Wood. They might resign, and also they have like a top pick. Orlando Magic has been 11th seed. Unless they make a trade, I don't see them like going to the playoffs anymore with some young teams becoming better and Wizards like coming back. The Hawks will be the 10th seed because they got Clint Capella now. Trae Young will improve more, and John Collins. They will be a great duo. John Collins hopefully will not be suspended again. And they have some other good players on the bench and young like Cam Reddish, Kevin Porter, and DeAndre Hunter. Next we have the Washington Wizards as the 8th seed. The Bulls as the 9th seed. They have much better culture, and also they have a better coach in Billy Donovan, and then Zach LaVine will improve. They have a better rookie, and they will have better trades, and Larry Marketing will improve. Wendell Carter. Washington Wizards 8th seed. John Wall is crazy, and Bradley Beal will be a good duo. Pacers 7th seed because Victor Oladipo will be pretty good, but like Sabonis too, but like they might trade Victor Oladipo, Miles Turner, and yeah. 16 will be Pascal and Kyle Lowry because Pascal was horrible in the playoffs. So they will become 16. They might lose one of their centers, Serge Ibaka or Marc Gasol. Then we have 76ers who might trade someone of their big players, but they do have like one of the best starting fives in the league. Simmons and Embiid with Al Horford and Tobias Harris. Then we have the Celtics who have Kemba Walker, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown as the 4th seed with some decent depth. They will be the 4th seed. Tatum will improve more. And then we have the Heat as the third seed, who was the second best team in the NBA this past season. So they will become third seed. They will be very good still. Jimmy Butler is crazy. Bam Adebayo will improve. Then the second seed will be the Nets with KD and Kyrie. They will become very good because Kyrie and KD are not injury anymore, and also Caris LeVert, and they have one of the best depths in the league. And finally, the Bucks number 1 seed with Giannis and Chris Middleton. They always have very good regular season. Here are my predictions for the playoffs. Here's my predictions. Bucks winning the first round versus Wizards, who will win the play-in tournament. Then we have the Celtics winning the 76ers because they did last year, but Ben Simmons came back. Celtics in 7, Bucks in 7, no cap. Bradley Beal and John Wall are very good in the playoffs. Bucks in 7, Heat in 7 or 6 because Raptors, Siakam is not a good playoff player this season. Nets in 5. Sabonis and Oladipo not too good, Oladipo is crazy in the playoffs, but he might get traded and stuff. Then we have Celtics in 7 versus the Bucks, who the Bucks will have a bad season again unless they make a trade, because Chris Middleton is not a good second option. Then they will have the Nets winning the Heat in 7 games. Heat will lose, but the Nets will have a good people in the playoffs like Kyrie and KD. Nets will win the Celtics in 6 because Celtics lost to the Heat, and the Nets will also win it. And now for the West, we have Blazers losing to the Lakers in 6. Rockets winning the Nuggets in 7. Sadly, I had to do this because I don't know. Because Rockets are a very good team. Warriors winning Mavericks in 6, because the Mavericks still are not good enough for the Warriors, and Clippers win in 6 versus the Jazz. Clippers versus Warriors will be very entertaining, but I think Kawhi will be good in the playoffs and win the Warriors in 7 games. Lakers win in 6 versus Rockets. The Battle of LA, we don't know, but the Clippers in 7 if Paul George is good, and then Clippers win championship, or the Nets. You guys choose. So my top 4 teams to win is Celtics, Lakers, Nets, and Clippers. Thank you guys for watching. We're out.